Welcome to the Kozi First Impressions and General Overview video for the classes in the Lost Ark beta. I appreciate you listening to my very important opinion, so let's get started. First we're going to talk about is the Warrior, the super typical archetype that needs no introduction. It has 3 advanced classes right now. The first is Berserker. The Berserker is all about big swords, big swings, big damage, big cooldowns, and big women. The quintessential Warrior class, it's simple and straightforward and satisfying. The identity skill makes you go Berserk, obviously, and you gain a lot of attack speed. Using the skill again ends Berserk mode and you do a big attack to finish it off. It's a good class if you're used to being a warrior in other MMOs, and it's not too squishy and it does a lot of damage with its long cooldown abilities. It's very good for beginners. You could probably smash your fist into your keyboard brainlessly and still do well with it. Gunlancer is next, and it's the main tank of the game. It's slow, it's heavy, it's beefy, and it's straight out of anime. They have a wide selection of crowd control and damage mitigation for yourself and the party, so if you enjoy being a walking set of armor that protects the weaklings in your party, then this is a good class to play. I personally don't like how immobile it is, but that's my specific playstyle preference. Last but not least is Paladin. This is my personal favorite of the 3 warrior classes. It's got a sword and a book with different abilities pertaining to each weapon. It's a support type class that can buff the party's damage. This sort of thing is always useful and you'll make a lot of friends in the endgame. The abilities are honestly really flashy and satisfying to use, which is why I like it the best. Mage is next, with 2 advanced classes to choose from. Summoner, well, summons things. It's the closest Lost Ark has to a mage right now, and it does the job fairly well. There's nothing too flashy until you get the identity skills, but that means my lizard brain doesn't get the dopamine rush other classes give it. Overall, It's effective and intuitive, so if you like playing the mage in other games, you'll probably enjoy Summoner. Next is Bard, and it's the only true support class right now, and honestly I kind of hate it. The notes from each ability that you play don't harmonize at all, and it just grates my ears so much. But this is me, and other people really like it, so obviously this is my first impressions video, and my opinion is important. Obviously, I am the YouTuber here, but I mean, it's not the end-all be-all of it. But if you're dead set on being a support for your team, this is the job you're going to pick because you really have no other choice. Martial Arts is next, another classic archetype that uses fists and kicks to great effectiveness. The Striker and War Dancer are male and female versions of the same thing, with some slight differences here and there, but this is a first impressions, and at low level, they play super similarly, so I'm going to talk about them both at the same time. They're fast, fluid, use elemental damage mostly. They're super mobile, but pretty squishy, so you gotta pay attention more as you're zooming around the battlefield. It's lots of fun, super satisfying gameplay, and I really like this class. Scrapper is the heavy martial artist, and it's all about big fisting, big hits, and big women. It's tankier and slower and harder hitting than War Dancer, but it also doesn't give a shit about technique or form, and it just pummels things to death. Use yellow abilities to build up the green bar so you can use green abilities to build up the yellow bar. It seems complicated, but it's really not, and it's super intuitive, and honestly it's very good beginner class if you like punching things. Soulface is next and is one of the harder classes in the game at this present moment. It's a mixture of melee and range, and it's touted as being a jack of all trades but a master of none. You're able to do just about anything you want with this class, just as long as you know how to do it. Class focuses on energy management, which I'm honestly not good at, so I messed up a lot playing it. But it's still fun, and it's definitely not for beginners or people who want to just face roll mobs. Gunner is next. It's the range damage class, similar to, say, Demon Hunter from Diablo 3. The Sharpshooter is the closest thing to a ranger the game has, with a bow and a hawk that you summon. It's agile, it's able to be ranged, and has some melee options, and it has a stealth mechanic. Also, it's pretty simple to play, so it's good for beginners who like to stay in the back and shoot arrows. Overall, it's pretty satisfying, and honestly, I'll probably pick this as my first main class. Gunslinger and Deadeye are similar to the War Dancer and Striker dynamic from the martial artists, so I'm going to put them in the same boat for now. You swap between 3 guns, pistols, shotguns, and snipers, and it's probably the highest skill cap class in the game right now because of how much you have to keep track of. But because it has so many abilities, it has high versatility, and is not beginner friendly whatsoever, but if you enjoy the challenge and you find it really rewarding, then go ahead and master it. You will dominate everything if you're good at it. Artillerist is next, and it's the heavy gunner class. Think the heavy bow gun from Monster Hunter. It's got low mobility but very high damage output, both for AoE and single target. It's got rockets, machine guns, flamethrowers, napalm, everything that you can think of, this thing's got it. The identity skill even turns you into a turret where you can just zap people with a laser or just do a rocket barrage and kill everything in sight. A lot of fun, but I don't like immobile classes, so I'm probably not going to play this one. But it's still super satisfying. Assassin is next, and it's arguably the flashiest of the classes. Now pick this one if you enjoy cutting yourself on edge. Shadowhunter is the slower of the two, boasting a good mix between melee and range attacks, plus you have literal demon abilities and can turn into a demon with its own moveset for your identity skill. It's faster than the Scrapper, not as fast as the other assassin class. It's fairly simple and beginner friendly. It's also pretty flashy. Deathblade is the last class that I played, and it's one of the flashiest in the game. Rush in, cut people up, rush out. That's the basis of the class, and it's a lot of fun. Squishy, like the War Dancer, and the identity skill is a steroid that you can end with a super cool slash attack. It's high burst damage, fairly simple to play. Not as simple as Shadowhunter, but still simple enough. And honestly, if Sharpshooter wasn't in the game, I would pick Deathblade as my first main class. And that's all of the classes so far. Thank you for watching.